So it is 2254 hours here on Wednesday, June the 4th, just before the late night news. And I'm starting to wonder, working with video on computers here, if some of the problems really aren't all these automated filters on audio and microphones, but that I'm getting into here. And I have to refer to my notes because I can't remain concise without them here. If I can scroll down. What I'm doing tonight basically is I'm working on video transcoding. And of course I'm coming from a proprietary format, which means the video format is patented and owned by a corporation. And of course, if I don't do it this way on the internet, the only viable option I have is to turn to the desktop computer to do my transcoding. In other words, to transfer it from one video format to another video format type of operation. So what I am kind of working at doing, or getting towards doing, is using proprietary formats to transcode files to play on a VMCR, which is like a VCR, except it uses memory cards instead of video cassette tapes. And this would, of course, bypass computers entirely. And I wonder if something's really going on here. I'm turning to electronic hardware, essentially, to solve a problem that is very much a computer problem, a software problem. And of course, the VCR is kind of like a guide for me here. I don't necessarily use VCRs, but I would like to be able to. Going from PC to VCR is virtually impossible on a low budget or otherwise. It's just not something people do. So the other variable here, of course, is sharing videos on the internet, which means YouTube. And there's sort of a cheap trick going on here. As the name implies, YouTube is some sort of democratization of television. Now you are the tube, you are the TV, tube being synonymous with boob tube, which is sort of just another name for television, right? Television programming, actually, or not the technology itself. Really, though, they're tapping into here, rather than TV culture, is actually the entire history, very short history, of video on the internet, and that begins with the divide and conquer rule, by having multiple video formats right from day one. I would remind you out there of a little thing called real video, and I'll just leave that darling child of the .com era on its own for you to decipher. So along came YouTube, and suddenly it was all one format. Okay, everything on YouTube is one format, not multiple formats. That was relatively unheard of, except when it was a website. One's machine seemed to work with it well, as if by magic, right? But this is far, far from magic. I promised myself a long time ago, just sort of as a sidebar here, that I wouldn't wait for the software development community to get it together ever again. I didn't like anything I saw in the development of video formats, even particularly with one episode where Chinese developers wanted to develop exactly the kind of technology I'm talking about, which is free source video formats. Suddenly, free source video formats started appearing and staring at. Yeah, so I mean the solution there, the bottom line is I went out and purchased a piece of hardware called a VMCR. You know, why not share video with people on their own television sets instead of the convenience of YouTube? What I'm staring at here is a very oversimplification of things, where YouTube equals the internet, and somewhere in there is MP4 technology, which is what I'm using on a VMCR. MOV is equivalent for the Apple TV technology, and WMV for the web TV technology. But still, of course, XVID, which is non-patented video format, still remains. I guess what we could envisage here would be some sort of an XVID online transcoding with fully programmable options, but that will not change the fact that my VMCR that I have is an electronic device that it doesn't play XVID. It also doesn't play YouTube videos, for that matter. So what I'm kind of seeing here then is, rather than YouTube being the be-all and end-all of video on the internet, I'm seeing it as a mix, and that video with computers resides with XVID and any other non-patented video format, and MP3, which is, albeit patented, is something to reside in the those gaps using MP4 technology between, say, computers and your television. And of course the internet there is some kind of bridge between computers and electronics. So what YouTube also borrowed from was not just television or video formats, but this whole history of the MP3 music phenomenon. Unity under MP3 for listeners of music has been wrongly, falsely credited with bringing down the industry. In truth, in reality, MP3 was a video technology and became a phenomenon of video, but the popularity of music. It is because of the successful promotion, therefore, of YouTube as a brand that has made this situation with YouTube so successful. But it is one, ultimately, of course, from the business side, that has very limited growth. The potential was eliminated because using this contributes to my supposition here that it's maybe part of some kind of conspiracy. And of course, because it grew too fast, it practically demanded that it be purchased by the likes of YouTube, which is a corporation, a different kind of margin, and has an ever-growing monopoly in online search. So the whole issue of phenomenons then. You know, MP3 is a phenomenon when they call iPods, one of the most successful electronic devices ever, they call them MP3 players. They still do that. Similarly, one of the fastest growing video entities on the internet, which is blip.tv, still must use FLV technology to compete with YouTube. Everyone imitates FLV except those who do not want to use recorded video now. This is the nature of the internet as we know it today. And that entity, of course, are the video streamers, which will come into the mainstream as my prediction this year. Here's the real rule book, okay? And I might have to end on this. Video will be in non-proprietary format, so development is not stifled. Electronics will be used in place of computers, except in editing, cuts, inserts, appends, and that sort of thing. And this is especially true of encoding across multiple standards. Software needs to stop dictating standards in video and get on with making the process of use one that is more available to us.